Welcome. I just want to say a couple of quick things to you about the importance of sampling. First, I'd like to tell you that the non-probability samples, there are different types of these. And sometimes non-probability samples are okay. You'll see that later on in this presentation when we're talking about case selection. If you're doing a case study or you want to compare a couple of cases. Later on, we talk about historical comparative research. And in those instances, you do not want to use probability samples. However, if you want to generalize to the broader population and your goal is to have your research capture the views or what is happening amongst a large segment of the population, then you need to use probability samples. Why? Well, non-probability samples do not use random selection. By not using random selection, they infuse a bias into the study that can distort the outcomes and provide you with inaccurate or imprecise results. So while there exist techniques to fix minor errors in studies that use random samples or that would use other forms of probability sampling and oversampling and weighting and so forth, you can't find a technical way to get out of the weeds on this one. And this is because the error is built into the study design. You do not know exactly what this error is. It is unknown. But most likely there are serious errors there and you cannot be confident in the results of a haphazard or convenience sample. Those are samples that are used when you just try to get to a particular number of respondents as quickly as possible, but those respondents are not randomly selected. And that means that each person is going to have an equal opportunity to participate in the study. Now, a couple of examples. If you use an internet study to try to generalize to the entire population, there are certain segments of the population, most likely there are poorer segments, that don't have the same amount of access as wealthier segments. Now, this is becoming less and less true, but if you're looking at a global study, this still remains very much a valid concern. Even in the United States, there are areas of the country where poorer segments of the population may have less access to the internet. Also, you can think of it in another way. If you have polls that are available on web pages, and those polls are either on very political web pages, it's clear that you're not going to get the full spectrum of the population included in that segment. So, for instance, if you have a conservative website take a poll about their issues that are pressing to them, or what they think about the president, or what they think about immigration or something, that will not represent the entire population's views. That only is a sample of the readers of that web page. And perhaps not even necessarily a random sample of those readers of that web page until we can make sure that other criteria have been met. So both of those, you could see how they would infuse bias into the study.